What it do? It's Lapose Judaku back with another video. Today I'll be showing you how I lay down my flats and what my digital coloring technique is. So let's get to it and let's go. Don't mind my dirty computer. When I finish eating, I just put my dirty fingerprints on it just to give it a bit of life. I could be joking, but no, don't mind it. We all got dirty computers anyway. So when I'm picking out the color palette for my piece of artwork, I tend to just go off what looks good together. And this is a really rare thing for me because I rarely ever color in my illustrations, well, the people in my illustrations, a normal skin tone. They're usually either pink or a purple or a green, just because that is just a focal piece in my artwork, just to be wild and crazy with color and where I put it. And in other pieces of work of mine, when I'm choosing my color palette, I actually just, like I said before, I go off what really looks good together. And I got some really good advice from one of my tutors. She said that when I am picking my colors, I shouldn't try to rationalize why I've picked what color. Like, I shouldn't try and find some sort of semiotic answer for why I've made the hair pink, for example, or the skin green. I should just go with that gut feeling as an artist. And I think that is a very important thing that we should do as artists. Just go for that gut feeling and not always try to rationalize what we do, why we do what we do, or why we've chosen this and done this. I mean, for certain other pieces of work, it could work to your advantage to constantly rationalize and come up with meaning for why you've made the hair pink. It connotes candy floss and how she lives in her own world and blah blah blah. That could work. That actually does make sense in terms of my drawing, but I just go with what my eye and my mind decides is best for the illustration. And I think I'm definitely going to keep that in mind. And in terms of my digital coloring technique, I learned how to digitally color from Michael Russell. He's actually on YouTube, an amazing teacher. He doesn't faff about when he's teaching. And he's, in all honesty, I learned how to use Photoshop from him. I remember one winter around Christmas, it was Christmas 2014, and I just thought, you know what, I haven't got a tablet, but I'm just going to teach myself how to digitally color in Photoshop. And so I just watched plenty of videos. And when student finance dropped, I went and bought myself a digital colorer. What do you call it? A coloring pad. There we go. One of those things. Yes. Another thing that I've learned from university is why we choose the certain mediums that we do. A well-known illustrator came into university. His name is Chris Harper, and he told us to think about why we use the mediums that we use. What does it, again with the sort of rationalizing why we do what we do thing, but he said that what meanings do the mediums that you use create? So for example, if you're using oil and you want to tell the story of love lost or something like that, I guess the softness of the oils kind of portray that sadness and that softness. And so with me and digital coloring, I kind of don't rationalize my work that way. I just love hard block colors. It's something that I've always been attracted to. And I think that also goes into my appreciation for comic book and comic book art. What really pulled me into falling in love with art again was reading comic books and falling in love with just the way things are drawn and people are drawn and how they are aligned, like the mark making and the cross hatching really drew me in. And I think that's why that sort of style is prevalent in my artwork, why I do a lot of cross hatching and a lot of bold colors, because of my love for comic books. And that may not necessarily be the subject matter in my work, but I guess my fondness of comic books is why I do this, why I draw this way. And I have to say, I did watch a few Michael Russell videos before I created this piece. And I think that because of that, and taking in knowledge before I created, I really do think that this is one of my favorite digital pieces to date. I know, right? And you're watching me create it. You're so freaking lucky. Oh! Another thing from my fellow artists that I wanted to discuss is the importance of journaling. I only learnt about the importance of journaling when I started my MA course. I know I had to pay 10 grand to learn to journal my artistic process. 10 grand well spent, because I tell you, it has truly, truly helped me. After I've done something, a successful piece, for example, and I just write down how I felt that day and why it became so successful, is such a bomb thing to do. It is really good. Or even when I have a really terrible day and I have not created how I want to, I record why and how it went the way it did. And I'm telling you, writing down your creative process really helps for future creative processes that you may have. Whether you're an artist, you're a filmmaker, you're a designer, I'm telling you, journal your process, your creative process. You are going to thrive off of it. Truth be told, it is the true, okay? The true. And I feel with my YouTube channel that this is my digital journaling process. I look back on what I've done and how I've done it and how I can recreate it again if it was successful, and how I ain't gonna make the same mistake. Like, for example, with the blue background, oh my goodness. You can tell that, like, whenever I'm rubbing out certain things off of scissor, the blue from the background appears. And I think because I didn't really, for the background layer of the blue, I chose darker color. And it worked because it pushed the background color to the back like I wanted. But in the process, it kind of tinted scissor as well. And I didn't want to do that. So every time I would erase something off of scissor's body, the blue would peek through. And that is a mistake that I've learned from, and hopefully will not be making again. No, sir, I will not be doing that again. No. Speaking of my art, since you're watching this video, I want to speak on the narrative that I want for future art pieces. I feel as though that I'm very superficial with my art. I draw what is already beautiful in terms of reference photos, and I want to recreate that beauty, but in my own quirky way. That's why when I was drawing portraits for people, I added my own quirky spin on it, on what was already beautiful. That's why I preferred portraits. But as I'm developing more as an artist, I really want to draw on my own inspiration and my own thoughts that are going through my head, and I want to put that on paper as well as using a reference. I don't constantly want to use a reference and then make the reference quirky. But maybe there might be some sort of hidden message within my artwork that I don't know about. I mean, what emotions and feelings do you get from my artwork when you see it? Let me know if you see some sort of hidden meaning. That would be interesting to find out. I feel that the essence of my artwork and the core nature of my artwork is surrealism. Yes, I feel like my work is quite surrealist in terms of the color and in terms of the shape and the way that I draw people. And I feel like that's because of who I am as a person. I feel like I am surreal. Okay, I'm surreal. I'm in my own head all the time. Most of the time when I was younger, I used to create worlds in my head, and sometimes I go to a certain happy place that I created when I was younger. I can't remember whether it was a dream or not, but there's this one place that I created in my head, and I go there, and I feel that my personality traits really show on paper or on screen in this instance. Creatively, I would like to show more of who I am as a person in my works. And I think that I can improve these issues with what I said. Like, I feel as though my creative strengths are my use of color, and I'm definitely going to not rationalize or change that. I think my use of color is incredible, and my mark making is incredible, and that's going to be an eternal focus of mine. And this is the finished product, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching me create scissor. Please feel free to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, my Artstagram, and my Depop. Thank you so much for watching, guys.